So with that, we will go ahead now and get started with our presentation today. I'm really pleased to have on today Gia Washington. She is the Director of Community Education at Sertoma Star Services, and she will present to us an overview of the mental health first aid training back in January when we all discussed what's some things that we want to learn about this year. Lots of people had an interest in mental health first aid, and so I was so pleased when I heard about Sertoma Star Services. They offer community education programs, and they provided mental health training to over 20,000 individuals in the past 10 years, with a goal of reducing the stigma and increasing mental health literacy within the community. So the mental health first aid is an evidence-based training that teaches participants the signs and the symptoms of some of the most common mental disorders and a 5-step action plan for how to support a person who may be struggling. So today we'll learn not just about the mental health first aid training, but also about the older adults curriculum that's a part of that training, how we can either attend a training or bring that training to your organization. So Gia Washington, she comes to us with years of experience, 16 to be exact, serving mental health, serving within the mental health field and working with individuals who experience mental health challenges. She has a bachelor's in business administration from the University of Illinois in Urbana and a master's in counseling from Southern California Seminary. And she also is the secretary of the National Alliance on Mental Illness, also known as NAMI Illinois Board of Directors. She is on the Board of Directors for NAMI Illinois. So with that, I'll turn it over now to Gia. Thank you so much for presenting to us today.
My pleasure. All right. So I am coming to you from Sertoma Star Services. You see here, it was established in October of 23. So we've been providing trainings a lot longer than 2023. But last October, Sertoma Center, an agency with locations in Alsip and Matson, merged with New Star, an agency with locations in Chicago Heights, Crete, and Northwest Indiana, and we formed Sertoma Star Services. So we're really excited about the merger. Our community education program has been in existence for a little bit over 10 years. And we started with a grant, and we have been so fortunate to be able to grow the program and to maintain the program throughout these past 10 plus years. We currently have 5 trainers, and each of us has a different background, but all complementary skill sets. We've got my background, I'm a licensed clinical professional counselor. We've got social worker. We have someone who has taught a NAMI family to family group for 20 years. We've got a person on our team with background in psychology and lived experience. And then 2 of our trainers are about to start school to get their master's in social work and in counseling. So just really kind of growing the department from myself and a part-time trainer to having 5 of us now. Over these past 10 years, we have really tried to saturate the community. Anybody who might come in contact with a person struggling with a mental health challenge. We've worked with community organizations, sororities, fraternities, church groups, first responders, healthcare, educational institutions, all the way from preschool programs through college students, professional programs, nursing, fire EMS, occupational therapy. And the goal is to have everyone with a common dialogue talking about mental health and not treating it as a topic that is the elephant in the room, something that people ignore and never actually address. So our trainings can either be in person or with the pandemic. One of the things that we were able to adapt to is the ability to provide those trainings virtually as well. Over these years, we have definitely seen the fruits of our labor. One, we give with some of our trainings, pre-test and post-test, and we found that people tend to have an increase in mental health literacy. They are more knowledgeable about mental health after they attend a training. We also have an opportunity to decrease stigma. Normalize having discussions about mental health. One of the greatest contributors to people having stigma in the first place is a lack of knowledge, just not understanding. And if the only knowledge you get about mental health is from the images you see in the media, it can be quite misleading. And so being able to talk about it in a safe environment reduces the stigma. We're also able to support people in terms of helping them find resources. We can provide lists of resources, and sometimes people who attend trainings will identify this is what I feel I need. How can you help me find services? And then over these years, we really are trying to develop as many partnerships as possible. So there are organizations that we've worked with throughout the years um, where they're helping us and we're helping them, trying to have a community approach to mental health. And then you can always measure the results through numbers. But what about experiences? And so we have people sometimes who will attend a training and they'll look at signs and symptoms rather, and then they will say, that's me. I never knew there was a name for what it was I'm experiencing. We have people who come back later in the trend, attend additional trainings. We have some who've attended the trainings and used their skill set to provide interventions to someone experiencing a suicidal crisis. So we definitely believe in our program. And we're so fortunate that others have found our information that we're able to provide to be useful as well. So, just talking a bit about one of the trainings is mental health first aid. And mental health first aid is an evidence based training. It started in Australia, it's been in the United States since 2008. And there is mental health first aid has not only the adult version, there is one for adults that work with youth, and then there's a teen mental health first aid as well. It's just like any other first aid class in terms of teaching to recognize that there's something going on and to provide support when there's something going on. The topics that are covered in the mental health first aid class are depression, anxiety, psychosis, substance use, suicidal ideation, and non suicidal self harm or self injury. And the participants learn a 5 step action plan, how to assess the risk of suicide or harm, listen non judgmentally, give reassurance and information, encourage appropriate professional help, and encourage self help and other support strategies. The class is taught through a combination of lecture, discussion, video, and group activities. So, Mental Health First Aid Adult also has an older adults curriculum that is specifically designed for people who are working with people over the age of 60. And what makes it different from just the general curriculum is that with the statistics provided for any of the illnesses, depression, anxiety, substance use, psychosis, they give statistics that are specific to an older adult population. It also talks about the unique challenges that an older adult might experience. What are some of those risk factors? But while there are risk factors, there are also protective factors and strengths that should be leveraged. There's an opportunity to practice the action plan with scenarios specifically tailored to older adults, and then there are resources provided as well. The class can be in person. We have occasionally open classes at our ALSIP location. Our next scheduled open class is on June 10th of this year from 8:30 to 4:30, but we're also able to provide the training at your location. We just ask that there be a minimum of 10 people and we can accommodate up to 30 per class. We also have a virtual option. With the virtual mental health first aid, there is 2 hours of online pre-work followed by either one 6-hour Zoom class or two 3-hour Zoom classes in order to receive certification. Both the online component and the 6 hours of the Zoom class would need to be completed. And then there's a blended version. And with the blended version, there's 2 hours of online pre-work followed by an in-person class. And that one we can either have at your location or at our location in Alsip as well. So why should you attend the training? Well, the professional benefits. If you're working with people over the age of 60, just learning the skill set, addressing the mental health challenges. Oftentimes there's a belief that, you know, when people age that they're not prone, everything should be okay and they should be happy. And if you've got a person, and they're grumpy, that's just a part of aging. Depression is not a normal part of aging. And so recognizing sometimes when you see those changes in personality, recognizing the effects that loss and loneliness and chronic pain can have on a person can absolutely help in a professional capacity. But then there's also the personal capacity as well. We may have people in our lives, we may be aging, um, and just kind of learning how to look out for some of those signs and symptoms and how to approach that person in a way that is going to be compassionate and keep that dialogue going rather than shutting it down. And then having trainings is the repetitive trainings rather build that muscle memory. So the more you do it over and over again, the easier it is to recall in situations where you actually need that information. So if anyone is interested in more information or um, learning how to book a training for your organization or attend one of our open trainings, this is my contact information, and that QR code will take you directly to our website, which lists our community education program. All right. Anyone have any questions?
I just have one comment. Thank you so much for sharing this with us. By coincidence, my husband and I took your mental health training, I guess about last month
Oh,
for
we were,
adolescents. Yes,
yeah,
yeah.
it's good to
My
see
husband in the background. We were in the back in the cut.
you. Mhm. So
Yeah.
that's another one of our trainings because you attended the compassion fatigue.
Yes. Yeah.
Mhm. And the
Very.
compassion fatigue is another training that we offer, and that just kind of talks about how when you are in a caregiver role, it can take its toll on you. We're actually going to have a virtual version of rather of compassion fatigue coming up at the end of the month.
So we did the mental health for first day for
Oh, you did
adolescents.
that one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but thank you so much for sharing this information because outside of my role here with the Share Network, I also make sure that other organizations know about programs like this because mental health
Mhm.
is definitely on the rise with adolescents and um, middle age and older adults. So I try to maintain, which is why I did this outside, did this even outside of my job to make sure
Okay.
that I'm equipped. My husband is equipped. Other people, that come in contact with a lot of people is equipped with these tools. And I
Mhm.
really enjoyed the training. And so I'm just kind of putting that out there for everyone else to take part in the training. It was very thorough and very much needed.
Appreciate that. Thank you. That Adriana, is that a hand up?
Yes, it is. Gia, I was curious. I know that I've attended a first aid responder training. Are
Mhm.
there, and I have a feeling it was not through y'all. And so I wanted to see, is that something that's connected or for me to like look it up? Because it's been a bit. I want to say it was like 3 years ago that I attended. And obviously I would love to get a refresher now that I'm in a new position,
Mhm.
working specifically with older adults. So
Okay. Do you
originally I was
remember?
working with adolescents and young adults.
Okay.
So
So it would be, there's actually, if it was prior to 2020, there is a new curriculum.
okay.
And each training for mental health first aid comes with a 3-year certification. So if
Okay.
you took it 3 years ago, then it might be time for you to retake it. right.
Thank you.
Mhm. Is that Regina?
I see we have, yep, a hand raised, and then I noticed in the chat we have Milton and Phyllis. So, Virginia, you can go, and then I'll ask Milton's question as well.
Okay.
Okay, Gia, thank you for this information. I attended one of these several years ago, so I know I'm probably expired. But I do like the fact that you have like module for older adults, because I'm working with that population quite frequently. I like in person, so is there a cost associated to getting a certification for individuals or companies who might want to send their team?
We're able to do it for free.
You are, so I can register and go. And when is your next older adult class starting, the in-person one?
So we don't have an older adult class scheduled. We would need to have at least 10 people. We have an adult class that's scheduled for June 10th.
Okay. Okay, we'll talk. I will call you offline because I do have
Okay.
a whole department, so maybe we can all get together and have 10 of us at least. So I'll talk to you offline. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, I see Mr. Wright has shared physicians who work with seniors need to have a better understanding of mental health with seniors. Does your company work with hospitals or medical groups to ensure that this information gets to those professionals that need it?
We have worked with medical students several times, providing the mental health first aid training, just talking about like things for them to watch out for. And we've been in hospitals before. That's definitely a group we would like to expand working with. We've worked with like an emergency room, we've worked with nurses. So if you have contacts or you have someone you think could really use the training, please pass that information and we'll get in contact with them. Because it is an opportunity to screen, when something might be going on, and to also empower that physician to be able to ask those questions. And sometimes there's a fear of, I don't want to offend them, but we really need to address all aspects of health with our brain being a part of our body. Our mental health is a part of our health.
Yeah. Thank you.
Mhm.
Phyllis shared that she would like to know information about the virtual compassion fatigue workshop so that she can spread the word. So actually, I was thinking the same, not just for compassion fatigue, but for even the other workshops, especially one that's starting June 10th. Do you have flyers or something I can share when I send out resources each week?
We are developing a flyer for June 10th because we just scheduled that one today. We're waiting for availability. I do have a flyer for the caregiver fatigue and compassion fatigue. I will try to include that here, and if not, I'll send it to you, Janelle.
Okay,
Mhm.
sounds good. And Phyllis also shared that she's interested in joining an older adult class group if we get one started, if there's a
Okay.
group to get started. And it's funny because I was thinking, right as she was typing, I guess, I was thinking, I wonder if we should try to start a group. So how about if there's an interest within the group to attend either trainings that were mentioned today, if participants can just email me saying, hey, I'm interested in whichever one you are interested in, and then we can kind of take it from there and see. The good thing is you have a location for us in Alsip, right?
We do. Mhm.
Okay.
It's
So
right
then,
off of the expressway, so. Mhm.
okay. So then that's good to know because we don't really have a space here at the university to house everyone, but if we have space, it shouldn't be too hard to get a date going or a couple of dates. So
Yeah, and
that is
depending on how many people, we can always use the Hark Center, one of our rooms. If there's a U Chicago group that's willing, I'm
okay.
happy to use our space.
All right, sounds good. That was one of my intents in having Gia speak to us is I was hoping that from there it would, both some interest of getting the training going, or at least making the connection so that they can come to your site. Okay.
I see Stefano. Yes, it's been a few years, so it's time to recertify. Mhm. And we're funded through a grant from the state, Department of Human Services, as well as a grant from SAMHSA.
Thank you.
So if someone wanted to have a training or they want to spread the word, they can contact you at the website and phone number here.
Yes. Mhm.
Okay.
The best way to reach me is probably email, and I can always call back just because I'm out in the field a lot, but they can leave a message, and as I'm able to access the messages, I'll get right back. Mhm.
Are there any additional comments or questions? Well, then, Gia, you know what that means? That means you did such a great job. Then no one has any questions. They're all interested, or a lot of people are interested. So thank you so much.
All right.
Phyllis, is that a hand raise or a clap? I think that's a clap.
It's a clap. Great
That's-
presentation.
Thank you.
I'm like, wait, there is a question. Well, yes, this was a really great presentation. I'm looking forward to seeing how this just unfolds with us being able to now have the training in the community and bring the training to our partners. So we will be in touch. And again, those who are interested, please email me the training that you're interested in, whether that's the adolescent, the older, well, the mental health first aid, which has the older adult component, or the compassion fatigue training. Okay.